You've used AI for long enough to know about the visible mistakes of AI. But here are some of the real invisible mistakes that you might be overseeing. 3 invisible mistakes and what to do about them. The beginner mistakes are pretty obvious. Wrong tool, vague prompt, vague output, and I'm sure you figured it out really fast. But what I'm talking about today are not these. These are the ones that look like normal AI usage, but it could either be under usage of AI or over usage of your time, which is time wasted. Let's get straight into the mistakes. Mistake number 1. You go to AI when you have a detailed brief and you ask it to get the work done. Well, that's a good use of AI, but under usage of AI. If you have a topic that you are not pretty sure of, use it for research, for brainstorming, for getting creative, for ideation. And all of these are pretty different in their own sense. I'm sure you've been using AI for research as well by asking, can you give me a competitor analysis, or can you do this particular research for me? But what about brainstorming and ideation and getting creative? All of these are a part of using AI efficiently, which all of us kind of ignore because we want to get the job done. Use AI for end-to-end process with human intervention in every single step. Don't just go to ChatGPT and say, help me write a campaign brief. Instead, do this. I need to write a campaign brief for an August product launch targeting mid-market HR teams. I have 3 angles I could lead with: time saving, compliance, risk reduction, or team visibility. Which of these is most likely to get an HR manager's attention? And is there an angle that I am not seeing? You get a full list. It says the best one is to lead with time saving, but don't really say time saving. Now, it gives you a whole detailed list on what is better and what are the different options. And the angle that I am not really seeing is manager accountability with HR without HR babysitting. All of these topics is what it did a whole bit of research and came back with. After this, I could, of course, get back and say, this one sounds interesting, but this one is not quite where I want, and keep going back and forth and get a ton of ideas that you would take a lot of time if you just sit individually and do it. Mistake number 2. It's all about defending your own work. Now, imagine you went to ChatGPT, asked it to create a document, a brief, a draft. You read through it, you made edits and changes based on whatever you felt right, and then you submitted it. After you've submitted it, your manager comes to you and says, why did you lead with this angle when you knew that the client does not really like to hear about money or projections first? They like to hear about the process first. See, the thing is, we often tend to go with whatever the draft is being given by AI as something that is good to go with a bit of human touch. We forget about the human judgment or angle and perspective that we bring. So whenever you're reading a document that is generated by AI, ensure that you look at every paragraph as to why this angle, why this perspective. For anyone really dealing with clients, stakeholders, external parties, this is really important, because when you've been questioned as to why you've taken this approach, you should not really be in the position of reframing whatever has been submitted. You should be in the position where you know why that angle was taken or why it was framed a certain way. So everything about the process, the structure, the angle, what are the points that are covered, all these things have to be yours. Not, is this good? Is it mine? So every time you read the draft, this is the question you have to keep in mind. Not, is this good? Is this mine? Is this my perspective, my judgment, my decision that's gone into this draft? Really important. And here's a slight bit of a trick. If you really want to go a step further by using AI itself, once the draft is completed, ask AI, why did you use this angle or this perspective? And even having that answer as something that you align with is good enough to go ahead and present to all the external stakeholders that you deal with. Mistake number 3, building over and over and over again. You write an awesome brief about getting a new campaign ready for your next product launch, and you detail it so well with the structure, the client brief, the kind of approach that you want to take. All of that is built in so beautifully. And you got an amazing output. After a month, you come back again and you start from scratch and you say exact same thing that you had said before. And this time it's just a new product. You spend half an hour then and you spend another half an hour now to give the exact same brief with just a minor tweak. Now, this does not really look like a mistake, but imagine the time wasted in doing this task again and again and again. This is just one task. You probably use ChatGPT for multitude of tasks, and all of these tasks repeat at least once a week. Imagine the time wasted here. And the answer is super simple. The fix is a prompt library. It is the easiest thing to do. Copy the prompt that got you the best answer and just paste it in a document and save it there. Save 5 such prompts for 5 different tasks. And every time you come up with a new task, just copy that prompt, paste it there, and tweak whatever is needed instead of writing the whole thing again. Imagine building this prompt library once by spending, say, 30 minutes to 90 minutes in just preparing this, and then saving at least 10 minutes of your time every time you put in another prompt. So much time is saved over a month that you don't even realize when you're doing this on the go. That is why this is also an invisible mistake that you're making with AI. I hope you identified all these 3 mistakes that you've been making in some way or the other, whether underusing AI or over wastage of your time through prompts or through putting manual work where AI could help you out. And just try and make one of these tweaks this week and see how big an impact it makes in your work life and the work system that you're working with. I hope this was helpful. See you there.